Hey guys, today we will be taking this image and remove the background, and for making the selection we will be using the lasso tool. We will also be exploring the different lasso tools and their available options so that we can take its full advantage. So let's jump right ahead. Welcome back to Dexplorian. If you are new here on this channel, I'm Didi and I'm all about designing in Photoshop and sharing the process with you. This is the new series on background removal where we take up a new image every time and try remove the background, and in the process we discuss different tools, techniques and tips and tricks which will make your workflow better. Since there are no right or wrong ways of doing things in Photoshop, it's only the results that matters and the time and effort taken to achieve those results, and I try to minimize that to the extent possible. So far as lasso tool is concerned, frankly it is not the most efficient tool. It has its own pros and cons, but there will be some times where we need to use it, and moreover as a Photoshop enthusiast we should know our tools fully. So before we hop onto today's image, let's understand the lasso tool, and if you are only interested in the background removal process, here's the timestamp for you. Lasso literally means a rope, which you might have seen in the hands of the Wild West cowboys, with which they used to capture the horses or bulls. We are also going to do the same with the lasso tool, but we don't care about horses or cows. We will be capturing the subject or any other specific area in the image. Just like the quick selection tool which we discussed in our last video, lasso tool is another selection tool but with little more control. Unlike the quick selection tool which selects a specific area by analyzing the color and the contrast of that area, here we have the capability of defining the boundaries or the extent of the selection by ourselves manually, and hence it is little bit more time consuming depending on one's expertise. So if you want to have the full control over the selection, or in any instance where Photoshop is struggling to differentiate the subject and the background, you can grab the lasso and take control. To activate the lasso tool, we have to click here, or you can press the L key on the keyboard as shortcut, and just like any other tool we get some options up here in the options bar. We don't get any select subject button here, unlike the quick selection tool, because lasso tool is purely a manual selection tool, but we get the select and mask button though. There are, as usual, add to selection and subtract from selection buttons, and the fourth one is the intersect to selection. Let me show you how it can be used. Say for example we make a selection like this and another like this, and this will make a selection of the common area of the two selections. Next we have two more options here, feather and anti-alias. Let's see what it does. Right now the feather value is around 25 and the anti-alias is checked on. Click here to unlock the layer and click on this icon to add a layer mask. And now as you can see, the edges of the selection are soft. If this is what you want, you can keep the options like that, but otherwise we can do this. Press Ctrl or Command D to deselect and bring the feather all the way down to 0 and turn off anti-alias and make a new selection, and now when we click on the add layer mask button, the edges will be sharp. Most of the time I keep it like this. Let's now explore the three types of lasso tool we have here. The first one is the normal lasso tool. I use this when we have a subject with a simple boundaries and edges, like in this image. You just have to click and hold and draw along the border, but frankly I find it very difficult to use it on a bigger subject like this, because drawing like this is in one go, and that too with a mouse is extremely difficult, and if you leave the mouse button this will happen. Though you can draw another selection to add to it, but it's kind of awkward to me. Let's add the layer mask. I know the selection is not at all perfect. This was just to demonstrate the point to you, but we can refine it using the brush tool, which I'll be showing you in a moment. That's the reason I use it less often, and that too for smaller selections. Now we have another image, and we will take the second lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool, and click on a point where we want to start, and then click on the second point and go on like that. I'm sure you have already understood the scenario where it is to be applied. We can use it in any instance where we have straight lines and pointed corners, like in architectural structures like this. In case of product images, selecting the shape apart from circle, and many more. One thing for sure, you can have very precise selection with this tool. And now for the third lasso tool, the magnetic lasso tool, we can take this image. To me, this is the most interesting and most used lasso tool, and I don't know why it feels like very satisfying to look at while using the tool. Maybe it's the way it works. Here we have few more options available for us to play with. We will click once on the spot we want to start and just hover along the border, and it will go on adding these anchor points and automatically stick to the border. If you move slowly, it will add anchor points more frequently, and if you go fast, the anchor points will be less frequent. If you have moved excellently out of the line, then don't worry, you just have to move the cursor backwards and press the back button and it will undo the anchor points by its own. You can also add anchor points manually by clicking on the spot. And when you reach to the point you started out, you will notice a small circle besides the cursor. Then just click on that point to complete the selection. After that, if you find some areas left out, you can grab the quick selection tool to refine it further. Let's deselect the selection and explore the options we have. First, we have here our width and contrast, and very frankly, I keep it unchanged most of the time because practically I didn't find much of a difference after altering them. Just that after changing the width value to higher number, the selection is a bit rigid, and with lower number, it's more flexible. If any one of you knew the exact use of these two options, please let me know in the comments below. And now with the frequency, you can increase or decrease the frequency of the anchor points, and depending on the complexity of the selection, you can increase the value. And we add the layer mask and see how beautifully the masking is done. Hopefully I was able to make you understand the lasso tool, and now let's work on today's image. Usually in every image, I always start with the quick selection tool and click on select subject button to let Adobe's AI do the major work and refine it with other tools. This saves me a lot of time, but when the images are complex, select subject option doesn't give the desired results and I need precision in the selection. I go for the manual selection tools. For this image, select subject option would have worked very well with little bit of refinement, but since this video is about lasso tool, so I am going to use the same, and for that I will be taking my personal favorite, the magnetic lasso tool, and start making the selection. We have to do some work here and there. So let's grab the quick selection tool and start adding those areas which are left out. To subtract the unwanted areas, hold the Alt or Option key and paint on those areas. Then click here to add the layer mask and bring down the density to make the unselected areas visible to the extent needed. Select the layer mask and grab the brush tool. Right click anywhere to open the brush panel and take the hard round brush. Change the foreground color to white by pressing the X key. Why white? Because white reveals the areas under the mask. Paint over the areas to reveal. To hide behind the mask, change the foreground color to black again and paint because black conceals. Always remember during masking, white reveals and black conceals. And like this, we will continue to refine the mask till we are satisfied. And here we have our subject separated from the background. If you are a beginner and want to improve, the only way is to do a lot of practice with different kinds of images. It will help you improve your speed and precision. And if you want to see my creation with this image, you can watch this video. You can find it by clicking on the I button above, and I will also provide the link in the description below. Hope this video was helpful, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And for more such videos, please subscribe to the channel. You can also connect with me on Pinterest and Instagram. Links are given in the description. Stay tuned as I will be back soon with another new image and a new tool. Till then, take care, goodbye, and keep nurturing your creative spirit.